because my mom was always there where I could see her, and she wasn't allowed to be there because I had to feel like I had no one. And it was amazing how I did feel that way, just because knowing my mom wasn't just right there. They were offset, and they were allowed to come on after that. But I remember I was kind of upset.
It'll be all right now. Easy. Easy.
The cocoon part, that was probably one of the most tedious parts of filming that we had. It was all made out of fiberglass, and we had to do everything except the actual breaking apart of it over and over and over again. And all they had was this little tiny hole, and I'd have to crawl through the hole. And there was like a little stool covered with the fiberglass, and I'd have to sit on that. And I couldn't actually rest myself, like my feet, on any part of it because it might break it, and they couldn't redo it again exactly how it was. So I'd have to sit there, and then I'd crawl out, and that took days, and with all the slime, which took forever to clean off. It was horrible. And then Sigourney, when she actually had to rip it off, she had to do it just right so that we got it done right the first time, and she cut her hands all up with the fiberglass and everything. It was really bad.
Grab onto me! Hold on! Newt! God! Newt!
That was another scene that kind of lasted forever. Actually going down the chute part was the coolest. They had made a sign and they hung it on the chute that said, adults £1, children 50p. And when I'd hang up the top, and then I'd get to go down. It was this huge, like 3-story chute. It had like a little bend in it. It had a big old mat at the bottom. So sometimes I would kind of mess up a little bit on purpose so that I could go down and come right back up and try it again, until James Cameron caught on to that and said, we really have to get going with this scene. And then the water was a completely different time. And that was pretty bad, just because the first assistant director and I were really close, and he didn't want the water to be cold. And so they filled it up the night before, and he made someone stay on set 24 hours to make sure it stayed warm. Only it was too warm. So I'd be in it, and I could only stay in it for a certain amount of time because it was so hot. I'd have to get back out and then get back in.
She really had to show fear, especially in the scene when the alien rises up. And she was completely convincing. We also wanted to make sure that psychologically, considering this is a pretty dark and scary movie, we didn't have CGI characters that were added in later on. I mean, she was in there in pretty terrifying situations. We had long discussions with her parents and with her about whether or not she would in any way be traumatized by the experience. And she was perfectly fine, and she realized it was all make-believe.
Part of the thing was James Cameron said I had to watch Alien before we did anything to do with aliens as far as filming. And so I watched it, but I think I was 8 at the time, I didn't think it was scary. I thought it was funny. I was laughing at it the whole time.
Here we go. Like heavy science, not telling stories and just pay attention. On the bed,